Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. I am Michaela and I am coming on here today with my quarterly review. So we have made it through the first quarter of 2019. I'm actually quite a bit late recording this video. Today is April 12th and yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of get into what I've been up to, what I've been doing, all that stuff, the things I'm learning so far this year, and really just overall what I feel like I would like to share at the 4-month mark or 3-month mark. So I have everything, well, a lot of things on my phone that I've just been jotting down and everything as the last couple months have gone by. So I guess a couple updates. So if you have not watched my first video, I moved into a new home and I am now a homeowner. And so I paid my first mortgage payment in February. So in January I was sitting nice because it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, you don't have to pay mortgage, you don't have to pay rent. I was just kind of putting the money up. Then I paid my first mortgage payment in February and I'm like, this is real. This is really real. Like, financially, it's not a struggle, but it's just different. Like, knowing that you're actually putting it towards an actual investment is really exciting, and it's very different from like, oh, well, I'm just giving this money away and there's no purpose to it. So that's that. Also in February, I got a little sick, and so I've kind of been dealing with these symptoms on and off. I'm not going to disclose what they are or anything because I don't have a diagnosis. But with that, you guys did not get a video at all in March, and I'm just getting this video out now in April. So I plan on actually recording 2 videos this month. That way it makes up for March, and we're just gonna keep it at like a once a month schedule for now as it pertains to content, whether it be here or on the blog, on the physical like handwritten blog, because I just don't think I can push out anything more. Like, life has been so crazy. So like I said, yeah, I got a little sick in February, and so I've been kind of like playing catch up to life ever since because my body's working a little slower. So that's been different. For a lot of people who are watching that don't know me, I don't get sick like that. And I've never really had any major physical ailments, and so to kind of be going through an unknown process where I have these unknown symptoms, well, all of these known symptoms for unknown reasons, and they have an unknown diagnosis for everything. It's definitely been testing me, testing my patience, testing my faith, and kind of this. It's just different, and I'll kind of get to that when I start talking about my spirituality. But my relationship with God has definitely changed a lot. So there's that. Also, so I turned 23 in December of 2018. So really, this is my, like, 23 kind of starts for me in January. I kind of party for the last couple days of the year from my birthday to the new year anyway. So this is my first like real, not that being 22 wasn't an adult, but I feel like I'm walking into something differently. So I guess I can just kind of just talk. Let's have a conversation, a dialogue. Because I was going to talk about spirituality later, but it all kind of comes together. So being 23, like, I knew coming into this year, the Holy Ghost had told me already, like in November of last year, what my theme for this year was going to be, age-wise. But usually I have a different theme spiritually. But they seem to be coinciding this year, and so that's really exciting. So as common American culture knows, 23 was Michael Jordan's number, so this is my Jordan year. And yeah, it's been a journey, partially because there's a lot of implications with that come with that. So I started the year off in my quiet time. Excuse my stomach, y'all. I'm so hungry. One of the symptoms that I deal with is being hungry but being nauseous at the smell of everything. So I'm just in this weird parallel state. So excuse my stomach, just if you can hear it. But my Jordan year, I started off this year in a comprehensive study, going into the Bible, and in my quiet time understanding what the significance of the Jordan River is, or the country of Jordan. So far I've been focusing mostly on the Jordan River. And so the understanding that I got from multiple different avenues thus far is that it's this place of transition. It's this season, this physical representation in the Bible, but in my case, it's this season of transformation where things are just changing. My life is changing, I'm changing, I'm growing, and I'm flourishing, and I'm becoming who I believe God wants me to be. But like I said, that's not without its challenges. Like I feel like I'm also in a Job season in that my body is being physically attacked, and I definitely think that it's a test from God. I do not think I will die. But that nonetheless, that does not mean that it's not hard. That doesn't mean that I still don't struggle with pushing back towards God a bit. And so with that being said, like with this being my Jordan year, I understand completely that there's going to be some pushback, and in any avenue, like you don't have to be at the same place as me, but like if God has put something on your heart and you're supposed to be doing that or elevating in that sense, or he's pushing you to a new season, there's going to be a certain level of pushback, whether that be from the enemy, whether that be from yourself, whether that be from like uncertainty, or like how the cards fall. There will be a certain level of uncertainty because we as people don't like change, and honestly, like if you're really worried about the whole, the devil's coming after me mindset, by all means I do believe that Satan does attack us and everything, but we also have to understand that we give him a little bit too much leeway, and that even though he pushes back, God is stronger. He is the God of the heavens and the earth and hell and everything else. And thus with that, like, it is what it is. I mean, we should be able to elevate. And so I recommend that people, if you are in a similar position as me, you take a posture of surrendering to God. I guess that's the biggest thing that I've been working with, is this whole surrender idea. Like, I thought I had rendered everything to God. I thought I was free of self. And every time that I get to a place where I think I'm free, I realize that I'm really not. I realize that I still have some growing to do, and that's a good thing, because if I was done growing, I would not be here. I'm pretty sure the Lord would call me home. So I'm really excited about this whole journey, and like I said, it's hard and it's rough, but I'm really excited about it because I cannot wait to see myself on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I write in my journal a lot. I'm now doing these videos because I've been doing videos for years, since I was about 15. I just never shared anything. And it's a great way to see, like, I'm not that girl. For example, I'll insert a picture here, but I was looking at this picture of myself and it came up in my memories yesterday, and I just realized I am not that 15-year-old girl anymore. Like, that 15-year-old girl was timid and shy, scared. She very much so wanted the validation of others, but was not willing to compromise to get it, which I guess hasn't changed, but I'm a lot less focused on the validation of others. And like that 15-year-old girl, wasn't, I don't know, she's just not me. Like, if you knew me at 15 and you know me now, like, they're complete opposites of each other. Like, 15, I just had very little care in the world, and now I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. So, yeah, just doing a lot of reflection and seeing, like, this, I want to be someone different by the end of this. I want to. So, for the last 2 years, maybe, when I come back and I do my yearly review, I haven't really changed that much. I mean, I've changed, but not to where people look and see me different. I want to, by the end of this year, feel like I look at myself different. People see me different. I am different. Because I want God to be able to do that work inside of me for me to get there. So, yeah, I'm gonna go over just a couple things. I've been thinking about like the structure of these, so I'm just gonna go through a few different segments. The first segment here is just the key things that I've written down. So the first thing I have here is, if you don't want more, you won't get more. So this has been huge for me because I definitely have a lot of plans of my own for this year, and I definitely feel like I'm embarking on different types of journeys this year. I don't want to give away too much just in case I back out and I wimp out. But I'm embarking on a lot of different journeys this year that I never in a million years had imagined. And so because of that, I've had to understand that I was limiting God. I was limiting him from what he could do. I was limiting him for what he will do. And so I had to get to a place where I opened my mind, and it's definitely a strange concept if you're not used to it, but opening up my mind to the infinite possibilities. Like, I don't know what the future holds for a month from now, but what I do know is I'm willing to embark on it because I know it's going to be incredible. The same way that I'm stressed out right now, and school has got me all jumbled up, but it's incredible. Every step is incredible. So, yes, and this applies to literally every aspect. In your relationships, if you don't want more from people, you will not get more. Your standards will be set, the bar will be low, and you will not know how to receive better. If you financially have a broke mindset, then you will not be able to, again, receive anything greater. In your health, you can't expect to, wake up one day and magically have perfect health if you're not willing to put in the work to do what you need to do and want for the better health. Like, it's definitely, like I said, a strange concept, but very simple in practicality if you just open your mind and really pray and ask the Lord in what areas you want him to give you more. The power is in your tongue. That goes back to the concept of really wanting more, but also not diminishing yourself, to not being able to receive more. Like, from the mouth, the heart speak. From the heart, oh God, that was awful. From the heart, the mouth speaks. And so because of that, there's definitely power in your tongue. Like, there's also a verse about the power being in your tongue, but understanding that whatever has control of your heart will come out your mouth. And if you are not allowing God, for example, I can just do from my own perspective. When I first got sick, I felt like I was dying. And I definitely said, I am blank. And my mom had to quickly get me and be like, look, you cannot speak like that. Like, you are now allowing Satan to have power over you. And I definitely repented, but I heard something on the radio that also went to this notion, and I thought it was very, very good. It was talking about how Satan cannot curse you. per se. Like, there's certain things that he just does not have power over. But if he can influence you to speak it over yourself, then you make it true. And so be careful of the things you say, what you edify out of your mouth, what things you have in your heart to even allow those things to come out your mouth, so that you're not tarnishing what God has for you, and you're also not tarnishing yourself. This is a big one. I am on a different wavelength, and this has been so eye-opening to me. So my pastor at Resurrection Church has gone through a series by which she was preaching on a kingdom mindset. And so having a kingdom mindset versus like an earthly mindset. And I'll leave her link down below for the sermons. But it was definitely a supernatural thing when I put it in practice. So I had heard over and over again, like, you need to have a kingdom mindset and da-da-da. And like, people use that to be overly spiritual in the sense of you can't watch movies, you can't hang out with people that don't believe in Jesus and blah, blah, blah. I definitely believe that that mindset is limiting, and it's wrong because it directly goes against the example that Christ left for us. But in taking this to the correct way, in practicing it the correct way, in my opinion, I've definitely changed the way that I think. Like, I was very much so overwhelmed in January by our political stance and different things that are happening for me at school, and the physical things that are happening around me, like family members getting sick and being sick, me being sick, different avenues like that. But then when you start focusing on the kingdom mindset, none of that stuff really matters. And so it gets really exciting to be alive in a time when everything is falling apart. And so definitely I recommend that you guys just start thinking about things from a kingdom perspective, from a Christ perspective. Like, yes, everything around us is falling apart, but is God gonna be glorified at the end of the day? Because I'm alright with that if so. I'm not alright with, like, but I can accept the things that I cannot change, because I know that overall it's gonna work for the good of God and for myself, because I love God. Yeah, so I guess this is another one. So I talk a lot about love and relationships amongst my peers, just because we're at that age where we're getting like pressure from our parents and stuff and from the people around us. And so with that random precursor to this, I said, what is the one thing that you're panting for, whether that be God or another person or having somebody to just fill a role? What is the one thing that stops everything else for you? Again, whether that be a person, a thing, an action, an emotion, a feeling. And are you hearing from God as often as you receive text messages? So I'll start from the top and expand, and then I'll actually pose the questions again and have you guys pause and answer the questions for yourself. So, all of this is important for me to share, because I feel like we all long to love each other and to have like that one person and kind of be in connection with that one person. But I think it's more important that we kind of take the time and focus on loving God. Whether you be single, married, what have you, like, obviously if you're married, you need to love your spouse, and that's your ministry. But for single people, like, what does it even matter that you're connected to someone if you're broken? Like, somebody cannot fix you. They cannot heal you. I believe only God can do that. Now, he can use somebody to help do that, but for you to be truly, truly good, like, that has to come from God. And so the first thing is, I'm looking to find love in the right place. I think that a lot of people look for love in the wrong places. Like I said, in other humans, or in drug addiction, or in alcoholism or like selfishness and like self-loathing and like just the strangest of places. I know somebody who believes that they can be attracted to inanimate objects, and I'm not dogging you if you can, but a car cannot love you back. I'm sorry, it just can't. And so I definitely think that we need to be looking to the source of all love. I know that this is something I'm doing, and I just charge everybody in the web spaces to do the same, because the world is getting out of control and we're losing and we're missing a lot of love. And I believe once we get a hold of that love, the true love, then we won't be as all over the place. The next thing is, I am not going into a place of desperation or coming out or staying out of it, in the sense of I am staying out of it. So I definitely believe, like I said, people, especially young girls, or not even young girls, single women in general, are in this place of desperation where they're like, I have to be with someone, and so they're accepting anything from anybody, and then it's causing more issues and long-term hate, and that's not it. Like, guys, it's not that deep. Like, whether you be with someone or you're not that deep. I just can't speak to it, but I don't understand why it is that deep. Like, if you don't have what I want, okay, fine, I'm moving on. Like, or if we're not compatible, cool. Like, I don't understand why people hold on to things that they don't like in somebody, or they accept things that they probably shouldn't. Like, if you're in an abusive relationship, I really pray that you get out and you get the help you need, but why do you continue to allow such behaviors if it's physically harming you and mentally harming you? Like, that's just not, I don't understand what kind of desperation that is, but I can tell you who does understand, and that's Jesus. And I really pray that you're able to really allow him to do the work so that you don't have that place of desperation. And I understand for people who aren't in abusive relationships, you think that's an extreme, but honestly, if anybody has you feeling like you're desperate, or any situation has you feeling like you're desperate, it's abusive in my opinion, because the only thing you should pant for, the only thing you should long for is Christ. The only thing you crave and feel like you can't live without is Christ. If it's something else, sex, money, drugs, alcohol, fame, people, it's all wrong. I'm sorry. It's all fleeting and it's not gonna last. And I definitely recommend, like I said, don't really try to find that real place. And so with that being said, this all goes to the understanding that, what's the one thing that you're longing for? If that's not Christ, yeah. What is one thing that stops everything else in your life? Like, I really had to take a step back and realize my anxiety was like taking too much space, too much mental space, too much emotional space. It was getting too much time and energy, and it was stopping me in my tracks. It should never, nothing but Christ should stop me in my tracks. And my anxiety is an extreme example, like I said, for some people, but going back to what I said before, yeah. Are you hearing from God as often as you're receiving text messages? I feel like back when I've finally gotten to a place where my phone is dry again, and it's an amazing feeling. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm so busy. I feel like I'm neglecting people, so I thank God that my phone is dry. But when my phone was like blowing up, and I felt like talking to other people more than I was talking to God. I was not getting that word from him. I wasn't hearing from him. And so I would just warn against that. Like, make sure that you're giving God his due diligence. And I know for people who don't necessarily believe in God or are very new in the faith or in their walk with God, or like aren't super spiritual, it's definitely hard to kind of understand these concepts. But I can do another post on what I think, how I communicate with God, and how I interact with God. But I think that looks differently for everybody. And so, yeah, although I spend my time doing certain things, the Bible only says that you need to fellowship with other believers in Christ and read the Bible and love God. And pray. And that's it. So, that's what mine basically boils down to. But I definitely do, I go above and beyond, because, like I said, I'm trying to get to a place where I'm doing my part so that God can do his part, and I can really, really walk in this year the way that he would have me to. So this has been a very long video. I know it was all spiritual and everything. And I definitely, like I said, I know it's a bit heavy for some people, talking about spirituality. Like I said, this is my quarterly review, what's been going on in my life, how I've been dealing with this first quarter of 2019. I'm so hopeful for the second quarter. Like I said, I am not feeling well in my body, but my mind and my spirit are strong, and I'm believing that God is going to do amazing things in my body, in my mind, and in my soul over the rest of the year, but specifically within the next quarter. Like, school is ending at the end of the month. God is so good. I cannot wait. I'm just gonna take some time kind of for myself. What I do for the summer is just research, and a lot of that is working from home based. So I'm super excited to kind of just get away and throw myself and immerse myself into figuring out me. Like, I don't not know me, but I'm changing so much. I want to make sure that I keep up with her, Like, already there's just amazing things that have been happening, and I cannot keep up with myself. Like, my spiritual and mental self cannot keep up with the manifestations of things going on. And so I'm just trying to keep up, guys. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I'm just trying to keep up. So yeah, this is my quarterly review. I know it was long. I know that people probably won't make it to this point, but if you have, thank you. You're a real one. I appreciate you, and look forward to a nice shorter video that's going to be much more lighthearted content coming up. I have a day in the life with me video coming up, so for anybody who's interested in getting a PhD in chemistry, you get a look at my life. This is not everybody's life who has a PhD in chemistry. This is just specifically my life, and how I go about my day-to-day. And we also have Malachi is supposed to be bringing some content to the channel as well. And so, yeah, look forward to that. He's a character. He's extremely funny. So, yes, thank you guys so much for your time. And, yeah, see you next time. Bye.